Yeah. So validation rules is what we gonna learn today. We went through complete class like day one. What are the roles in Salesforce? How do we log in and create account in Salesforce? And then eventually we went to create object. How do we create object and tabs on that part? Then next day we went through, how to create the application. Okay. And then application were of two types, standard navigation and console navigation. So we went through that as well. So next day we went through field creation. Okay, we created fields and then we also made sure that what are all the important data types of fields like lookup, master detail, roll up, formula. So those we went through and then eventually we went through the profile and permission sets. Okay, what I basically those are and then permission set groups. What exactly that is. Okay, we also went through roles. Then we went through layouts after that, how the layout, get designed and how do you can add sections, how the fields are aligned and related lists and buttons on the layout. Then we went to list views also, and those are usually help to fetch the data based on filters. You can add columns on that. So that's what the list view we went through. Then we also went to the flexi page where you were dynamically, putting your components on the flexi page. So you can align your page in different ways, based on your requirement. You can have related list, okay, which can be dynamic. So you can show and hide it. You can rename the label. You can put filters on the related list. So that was dynamic related list. Dynamic action was nothing but the buttons where you can put visibility. And rather than handling it from page layout, you can handle it from flexi page directly. Then dynamic form was nothing but adding fields with visibility. That also we saw in the flexi page exercise. So now we will start with validation rule, which is very important aspect. Okay. So validation rule are nothing but these rule help you to validate the data. Okay. Validate uh, the data when user inputs. Okay. Basically, whenever a user input anything, it will help to validate the same. Okay. So that is something which is validation is all about. Okay. Let me show you what data and what kind of validation I'm talking about. Okay. Let's suppose I go to account. Okay. Let me know once it is visible. So guys, let's suppose you are on account. Okay. So there are two things you can do with record, right? You can create a new record. So what you are doing is you are putting the data. And when you click on save, if you see, you got a error. So this is called a system validation error. Okay. So validation are of two types. Okay. System validation. Then another is custom validation. Okay. System validations are nothing but given by Salesforce. Okay. Standard, okay, errors given by Salesforce. Custom are the one which we create, okay, by our own. Custom error created by us. Okay, this is fine, guys. Custom is something which we build, okay, and standard, which is system, is something which is given by Salesforce. So this like required field error. This is given by them. Okay, this complete this will this is given by Salesforce. Okay, so I will say test account. Until unless I fill this, I won't be able to save it. So this is the I have removed the uh, system validation by filling these two fields. Now there could be chance that you can also have your validation, like if account name and industry is having the value, you also want phone to be filled. Okay. So you want to show the error like phone is not filled. Whenever these two fields are filled, you want phone also to be filled. So you have to apply some custom validation in that case because it's standard. There's no, it's not given by Salesforce. Simple. You want if rating is hot, the website should be mandatory. Like they should fill the website. There you can also look in this way. Like if ownership is private, then you have to insert phone number. Okay, you cannot skip or save this without phone number. So it's just that validate the data, okay, and check whether that data based on your conditions is filled or not and give the error. That is all about validation rule team. Okay. So it can fire on creation of record, one thing. Second, it can fire when you are updating a record. Okay, updating in the sense you are editing a record. Let's suppose, as I said, if rating is hot, you want to fill the phone number. So let's suppose if somebody make it warm, okay, you don't want this to be filled. Okay, you want user to remove the phone number. So you can say that. So that comes an edit, right? So if somebody edit the record, so it should fire a validation rule when your condition matches. So ultimately, validation will fire on edit and create. Remember this, guys. Okay. So this is a basic definition and use of it. It will be executed on create and edit only. Okay. When I say only, it will not execute on delete. Remember this, guys, and undelete. In interviewer may ask you like, okay, can you write a validation rule on deleting a record? Like if you want to write a validation, like when you're deleting an account, if opportunity is already there, you should not delete it. You should get a error that you cannot delete an account when there is an opportunity. If somebody asks you, you have to say no. Validation rule will can be there on same object. Okay. I repeat, it can be on the same object when you are creating a record or when you are editing a record. That's all. You cannot, write it based on delete scenario. Okay. So this is all about the basic definition. Okay, validation rules. Now let's go to how can you write and where to write the validation rule. So let's suppose I'll go on contact and write the validation rule. Okay. Guys, if you see when I'm refreshing this page, okay, I'm landing on one tab which is default to related, but I want to navigate on detailed tab as soon as the page loads. Do you guys remember how to do it? I did edit page. That is one area where you have to go. So you have to go to flexi page. So if you are here, so see, you have tabs, right? Tab component. So you have to click on it. Remember, I told you guys the property to change. There's something called default tab. Drag it, like open it, detail. So you have switched it to detail. I've already told you guys this in a previous class that you can change it based on the need. And whenever you are doing first time, you have to activate it. Assign as org default, desktop phone. You're activating the flexi page, guys. Okay, based on your org default. You deactivated it. Activation is done. You go back, and you will be able to see it. Okay, if you see now detail page coming. So now you have to apply validation rule. Okay. So let's suppose we will create a validation rule. When you are creating a contact, one should fill any one of this phone, home phone, mobile, other phone. Okay, we'll not take this example. There are many phones. We'll take a simple example first. Okay. I would say if title is CEO, I repeat, if title is CEO, you want assistant to be filled because CEO will always have an assistant, right? Right now, if you see, if I put the title as CEO, assistance is blank. But you want that whenever this is blank, it should come error. Like if title is CEO, you have to have assistants in it. Okay, you have to fill assistants. Okay, so one should be able to save it when somebody fills the data in this. It should not be blank. Okay, so this is our scenario. Are you guys good with our scenario currently? If title is CEO, there should be assistants field filled. It cannot be blank. So it's like you are making the field mandatory based on a criteria. Okay. So you went to setting icon, clicked on edit object. You came here, then now here in there is a place called validation rule. Okay, in the bottom, you click on it. Okay. So if you see this is the page where you can write a validation rules. Okay. So any validation which is custom and already there, you can see them here. You can activate and deactivate or you can update anything on that. New also you can create from here. So you have to click on new button, okay, to create a new validation. So first, so it is divided into four sections, guys. One is name. So this is simple name and activate. Okay. So you want to activate this validation, it means it will be considered when somebody will edit or create a record. This rule will be considered, which means it will execute. Okay, it will try to implement the criteria, or you can say it will try to validate the data which you are inputting. So that is what it active means. Now you want to put the rule name. Okay, so a rule name is nothing but the name of your validation rule. Okay, so you want assistance. Okay, assistance is mandatory. My I key is not working, so I will copy this. Is mandatory. Okay, you see, this is just a short name. Okay, assistance is mandatory. Assist assistant is mandatory. So, description, whatever you want to give, you can give. When title is CEO, assistance is mandatory. Okay, so you can give this. So that is your description. So this is first part. Second part comes under error condition. I'll come on to this because this is a major part. Second is error message. So you can say, please fill, please fill the assistance. Okay. And so this is third part. This is fourth part is error location. You want on top of the page. Top of the page means, so let's suppose you are creating a new validation. If you guys see, if I click on save, this one, this field is showing you error here. So this is field level. Okay, the error location is field. Okay, not on top of page. Page means on top of this pop-up is coming right here, or you can say on top of page here. So you want it on field. Okay, so you can select from here. So that's where Salesforce has designed on field level. If you want to, you can give on top of also, but this is with respect to a single field. Like when to use, you should know it. Whenever there are multiple fields need to be mandatory, you will always give on top. I repeat, whenever multiple fields need to be mandatory or when multiple fields are considered in your error message, you have to make sure you give it on top. But when it's only one field, you can select it here because at a time you can select one field only, assistant. Okay, here. So this is like single field. So this also you guys are good. Any question? When to use top page, when to use one field. When single field is considered in a error message, okay, or a criteria, you can say criteria in the sense like outcome. Here only you want one field to be mandatory, so it's like one field. So you don't need a top of the page. Now comes the body. Body is nothing but the condition criteria. This is most important, guys. In previous class where we were having formula session, where we were having, uh, roll up summary also, there were a few formulas like min, max, sum, uh, and then count. Then we are this here formula. We will also use this formula, going ahead when we will be working on flows. So these are important. So guys, our criteria was if CEO title is CEO. Okay, so let's insert a field because title is a field of contact. So you have to insert a field first. So search for title, then insert field. Okay, then operator because title equals to CEO. So if you will put this way and try to check your syntax, okay, you get an error, guys. CEO does not exist because until unless you give it like what is this CEO, they are not able to understand. Is it a text value? Is it a number? So it's confused. This compiler is confused. So give it as text because it text. So text is always given in single quotes. I repeat, text will always given in single quotes. Okay. So title equals to CEO. Check syntax. You see now syntax has no error. So now if it would have been one validation, like if somebody put the title as CEO, if this is true, then the error will fire. So let's try this validation first. Simple. If title is CEO, throw an error. Okay. If title equals to CEO, the error will only fire when it will be conditions is met. So this condition will met and then it will fire the error. So if I go here, okay, I'll create a record with the title as CEO. Okay. CEO user. So this is last name. Now I'm here, guys, giving CEO. Okay. I'll try to save it. If you see, I got an error here. Please fill the assistance. Okay. Did you guys got it? Your validation is working. If somebody put title as CEO, you are getting the error. Guys, any questions so far? Okay. I take it as no. I'll put it as a developer. Title is developer. It is not CEO now. So I save it. If you see, record is saved. So that is the power of validation rule. It will not let you to save a record, guys. Okay. So this you have to keep remembering in your mind. So that is a small validation. Now you have to add your condition, right? Now there are two conditions, right? Title is CEO and assistant is blank. Title is CEO and assistant is blank. Then only fire a validation rule. So let's add a field, another field, assistant. This one. If this is null, I mean this is blank, then only fire the validation rule. Remember? So now if you see two conditions are there, how can you merge it? Okay, so this is very important, guys. So there are two operator which is used here mainly, and or two functions basically majorly. And means all conditions are met. Or means any one is met. Okay, so that is about and out. So in your case, your requirement is title should be CEO and assistance is blank. Then only fire this error. So there are two conditions, right? All should met. So you have to use and. Okay. Remember, guys, you have to use and. So in your validations, just follow a practice to use and. Okay. So in starting only, you have to use this function. Okay. So how can you get it? You get from here and insert. If you see, when you insert, now it asks for logical one. So logical one is this. Logical two. Logical two is this. Logical three is not there, so you can remove these dots. Logical two is you can press enter and put assistance. So remember it was like blank, like this. Okay, let's try it this way. Now if you see and title is CEO, assistance is blank. If this both are true, and means both are true, then only error will come. Let's try this. Okay. Now you come back here. You will change the title. I told you guys this validation file when you edit and create new. You see, now came. Okay. So let's suppose title you have filled and you will give assistance as Pearl and you try to save it. It is saved. Now if you remove the Pearl, try to save it. You're getting the error. So that is what the power of validation rule. So this is one way. Now you remember you guys have a function called is null and is blank. Okay. So let me show you guys that function use is blank and then you were having is null also is null. Okay. So you want to check whether assistance is blank and is there or not. Okay. So I will use null first. So as I told you guys, always take the statement. It should return true or false in validations. Okay. Validation will only work on true and false. Formula field gave the data type. Data means it will give you other than true or false also. It gave you a number, it will give you text or anything. But here it will only give the true false value validation. Every condition should give true false. Like title equals to CEO. So it will give yes or no. Is null assistant. So it will check it, whether it is null or not. It will give you whether it is a null or not. Okay, I'll save this. So is null, this is how we use. You put is null and then it will accept a field name to check whether it is null or not. Okay, I'll try to save this. You see it is saved. Did you check this? Title CEO, assistant is null, then only it got saved. So it means this formula is not checking that it is blank. I told you guys the difference between is blank and is null. Blank is used for text fields, remember? So this is a text field. So you cannot use is null. Okay. So that's why you have to go for is blank. Okay. So you check the two ways, right? You have put the single quotes. Here, assistance equal to single quotes previously, which means blank. Okay. It means there is no string, no value in that. Okay. Now I will try to put and try to save it. You see, I got error. So that is the power of having this validation rule. Any question so far? So this is one validation, guys. Okay. Now let's suppose I'll give you one more validation. Okay, I'll keep this validation with you guys. I'll create a new validation now. Okay. The next criteria is one should field either phone number or email. Email or phone number, one is mandatory, guys. Okay. Someone has to create because if you are creating a contact, he should have a contact, right? I mean, how can you contact that person? You should have a phone or email at least. Okay. So now let's create a. So you can say phone or email, phone or email is mandatory. Okay. So now, as I told you guys, it's saying one of them is mandatory. So in this case, you will use or condition. Okay. So you will bring or. So that is only you have to understand. And there could be a mix also, and or. Okay. When you are writing bigger validations, there could be mix and match. So you guys have to practice all of that. So I have to insert field. Okay. And then logical one. So contact phone, I told you guys, phone. So phone field is this. You insert a field. If phone is blank, or I told you guys anyone is blank. Okay, if both are blank also, you will get error. Okay, so you have to insert another field, email. Okay, email equals to blank. If anyone is blank, it will give you error. Okay, if uh, anyone is blank, it will give you error. So try to understand this, guys. Or condition. Okay, if anyone is blank, it will give you error. Okay, if both are filled, then only it will go ahead. Did you guys understood this? Or means if anyone is blank, it will give you error. Let me show you guys. I guess that will be better. Please fill phone and email, because understanding validation rule is quite tricky. Okay, so here two fields are there, so that is why I'm putting top of page. Okay, if it is one field consideration, we I would have put one field. So if you see now I'm here, try to save it. You see I got error on the top. Please fill phone and email. Okay, do you guys got? Please fill phone and email. So if I put phone, okay, we'll try to save it. Again, please fill phone or email. So if you see phone and email, I have to put email also. Now I will save it. If you see that validation went, okay, when I put both fields, this is different validation. Okay. Now I'll remove CEO and I'll try to save it. Record is saved. So this is where you have made, if anyone is field blank, then throw error. But our criteria was only one is mandatory between them. I repeat, if only one is mandatory, anyone is not filled. I mean, one of them should be filled. Okay, so your mind should work in that way, guys. It is little tricky. Okay, so I'll remove this, and you can use this blank as null. Okay, you guys can try that also here. So I'll keep that on you guys. So now I will come and use and. Okay, this will say if both are, okay, I'm changing or to and. If both are blank, then only it will fire an error. Did you guys understood? This is a little tricky way. If both are filled, then only it will give error, because you want only one field, right? Okay, sorry. Right now, if you see, this will give you, if both are filled, then only, if both are blank, it won't give you error. One second. So it says phone is blank and this is blank. Okay. If both are blank, it will give you error. Right now, both are blank. Okay. If one of them is filled and try to save it, it won't give you error because both are not blank. If you want to fill this also, you can fill it. There is no error. So that is something you have to think in this way. Now, if you remove both, okay, if both are blank, then only error will come as far as the validation. If both you remove, then error will come. Please fill phone and email. So that's what you have to think. And okay, if both are blank, then it will give you error. If one of them is blank, it won't give you because both conditions should met to give error. So that is our second validation. So guys, any questions? Because you guys will get this when you practice more and more. Okay. If you want to give error, like title should be of three character. Okay. If you want to give title should be of three character. I mean, somebody has to give the title more than three character. It's not like A. Somebody gave A. There's no title with A. Somebody gave AB. There's no title with AB. Okay. But yeah, there could be title with the three character like CEO. Okay. So you can write that also. Uh, title should be greater than two digits, two character. Okay. So here you have to give insert field title. So there was a function. Remember, guys, what is that function? Tell me. Which function we should use? If it is a single field, guys.
Maybe greater than.
If I want to check title should be greater than two character. So there is a function called length, right? You're trying to find length. How much is the length? Total character you're counting. So you have to put length function and then the field name. If it is less than or equal to 2. So these operator are there, okay? Less than or equal to this I have used, okay? Less than equal to 2. So check syntax. You see, no error. So if title is less than equal to 2, then it will give. If it is met, it will give you error. So you come back here. So let me give title. If you see, I've kept it blank. If I try to save it, you see, title is greater than two characters. So you have to give it as CA. So then you give greater than two character. I try to save it, it will be saved. If you see, there's no error. So that is all about validation rule, guys. Try to practice more validation from your end. Okay? Just give it as like fax or phone number should be 10 digit. You can make some mandatory like birthday field should be mandatory when department is there. Just try to create such validation from your end. Okay. So today class will end up here.